Once again, thank you for the opportunity to speak in one of the sessions. The topic I covered was how to look after yourself fitness-wise as you get older. I picked this topic mainly based on my experiences as a trainer and also based on the fact that I train a lot of people over my age. I am 52 at the moment, so I've got a lot of clients in their 60s and 70s, and I've watched them progress over the years from not knowing what they're doing, getting stronger, getting fitter, and while we're doing all this, I'm educating them as well. So I thought it would be a good topic to pass on my knowledge to some of my colleagues that I've known over the years. My preparation process for the talk I delivered was doing a bit of research in and around stuff I hadn't looked up on in a few years, just to see if science and research had changed since the last time I did one of the courses I did. I also looked back at some of the notes I'd made, because I've given a few talks in the past, looked back at some of the notes I'd given, some of the lectures I'd given in the past, and found bits and pieces I thought were relevant to the topic I was covering. I think I found it very interesting talking to people I'd known for years, people I went to school with, people of my age who needed a bit of education about fitness and nutrition and just all-around well-being. And I liked the experience mainly because it was a chance to connect with people, and people my age, people of my demographic, people who grew up in my kind of environment, and seeing the way they attack fitness and nutrition and see the way they've lived their lives up until now, and see if I can help them improve things, and also to try and offer support where possible for people who didn't know where to look for support. I think the whole concept of this has been excellent. I know I haven't really been involved in it that much, but I've found with that seminar I did, with that talk I did, that it was quite invigorating to sit there and talk about something I'm passionate about myself. And I'd really suggest that anyone who has any sort of background they feel they can share experiences with others on should take up the opportunity and do the same.
In the middle of the COVID lockdowns of the year 2020, the ISL Class of 88 Alumni Working Group at the time was thinking of how to bring people together and get people to connect at a time when the world was essentially distancing from each other. And so we happened on the idea of a virtual reunion. As part of that virtual reunion, we included 2 teaching sessions, one taken by Ayo Abegunde and the other taken by Yewande Sadiku. Both sessions were thoroughly enjoyed by all alumni who participated in that virtual reunion. And that model was repeated by the subsequent working group, who also put together a number of teaching sessions, either as part of a reunion or as standalone programs. But it is the current working group led by Deji Adenusi who have taken it further by branding it as H1 Teach One, and working to package it, putting together all the videos on YouTube, in Zoom, so that we have a library that people can access. And kudos to Olumide Balogun for his dedication to organizing H1 Teach One, and Deji Adenusi for his efforts in packaging it, branding it, and curating it and putting it all together so we can search through the various sessions. I mean, the H1 Teach One enables alumni to share from their wealth of experience with the rest of the alumni family, and hopefully somebody learns something from the experience of their colleagues. Now, my session in the H1 Teach One series was titled Entrepreneurship, the Quest of a Dreamer. And I happened on that topic the way that I normally get inspiration I identify an issue that I need inspiration on. I focus my mind on it intensely for a while, and then I let go of it, and I simply just have it there in my background. And as it happened, I was doing my daily exercise runs, and I do get some inspiration during my daily exercise runs when the topic just dropped into my mind to say, oh well, this reflects my personal journey, and it's something that I know intimately, and so I penned down the topic: entrepreneurship, the quest of a dreamer. In preparing for it though, I needed to add content that reinforced the broad topic area, and I had come across some videos on Twitter that I found quite good examples of the subject matter. One was by Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon, and the other was by late Steve Jobs of Apple. And so I started work on my presentation, putting down my thoughts, and then gradually building it up and using the videos to bookmark the presentation. One at the beginning, where Jeff Bezos talks to the entrepreneurship journey, and the other at the end, where Steve Jobs also gives his own perspective. In terms of, how that effort to prepare the session has helped me, well, my view is that every time that you have to teach a subject, it really helps you to purify your thoughts on the subject matter, because then you've got to be able to sit down and say, look, at the most granular level, what am I trying to say? How do I say it to an audience who is not in my mind, and ensure that the message is not lost and the message gets through? And so, for me, it was a useful exercise to help me also purify my thoughts around the subject matter, and to be able to put that down, ruminate over it, fine-tune it, filter it, and ultimately bring it down to its essence, which I was then able to share with class of 88 in an each one teach one session. So I appreciate the work that has been done and is being done by the working group around building up the each one teach one session, and I commend it to all class of 88 alumni to speak at one. It could be any topic that you find personally interesting. You never know who else might find it interesting. Speak at one and ensure to also listen to this. These are useful experiences from everyone. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Wale Akiomi. How is everyone doing? And I hope you're enjoying as we get to the end of the year, the season of Christmas. Hope its true meaning and its true blessing would continue to be amongst all of us, and we will see the new year in good health, wealth, and prosperity. So I'm just rounding up the Each One Teach One for 2024, and I've been tasked with just giving a summary of my experience with it so far. Excuse me if I'm going to be looking down, because I'm just looking at the questions that I've been asked to respond to. The very first one was, what steps did you take to prepare for your session? So my session was living your best life on the 5th floor. As we all know, most of us are now in our 50s, and thankfully a lot of us have led a good life. We've enjoyed work. Some of us are looking into retirement now. So what made me look into that? Towards getting closer to 50, I needed a new direction in life. I was okay with the position where I was, but it wasn't my ideal place of what I wanted to do. So I looked at retraining myself. I initially studied civil engineering and University of Lagos. Came over to the UK, had my master's in housing and urban regeneration, and then I started working in project and performance management. And then the credit crunch in 2011 here in the UK, and I was made redundant, and I had to go in for the next best thing after not working for 3 years. Now that was okay, that could pay my bills, that could sort out everything, but I wasn't really fulfilled. So I went and I retrained, and I noticed I like working with people. I had just been introduced into something called Black History Month here in the UK, and with that, I started doing a lot of events, and I enjoyed doing that. So I went in that direction. That kind of formed my basis for trying to give the topic, as it brought a new lease of identity in me, and I could go back and do something about where I was and where I wanted to be. So that kind of formed the basis of how I selected the topic. I thought I would share that with my fellow classmates and see if it would be helpful to them as well. I guess it kind of is, as once we get into our 50s, we're thinking of changing careers and all of that. Also, it says, next question is, what steps did I take to prepare for the session? So I had to look back at everything I had done and pull out the things that helped me along the way. My creativity, my need for wanting to do more with people around me, and also using, I think, like I mentioned during my session of each one, using what you enjoy doing the most to help you get to where you want to be as you settle down into retirement or into new adventures. There's no point just following the grain or following the crowd, and everybody's doing social care in UK, everybody's doing IT, everybody's doing social media and wants to become an influencer and have a blog or something. If you don't enjoy doing it, you're most likely not going to succeed in it. You can, but you most likely would not be fulfilled doing what you're doing. So those were the main steps, and also to see how I could use that in different areas. I also had to look into how other people who had lived their lives going in different directions and showing what they love to do. I used that as well. If you notice, there were a lot of quotes during my session. I enjoy quotes. They kind of break things down. They give you some time to actually reflect on what they're actually saying and see how you can apply that to yourself. Also, and I think finally, what personal growth or benefits have I gained from hosting my session? Being able to just share my experience. I mentioned experience and legacy. Sharing my experience, I hope that the legacy is that somebody listened to it and would remember, whether it's useful for them or useful for someone else. The legacy, that's the legacy I want them to pick out, that, all right, I could pick out something from this. I actually remember a lot of quotes, and those quotes have helped me, or I passed that on to people. And hopefully the experience that they got on the day was also helpful to remember. Oh, I remember the day Wale gave his each one teach one. He said this, he said that, and since then I've been able to use that to help myself or to think further into what I want to do as we approach retirement and maybe even to look at a different career, or to even see how they could use that to help someone else that they think it would be helpful for. So that's my little take on Each One Teach One for 2024. I think it was a noble cause, and I think all the different sessions have different dynamics and different directions, and hopefully we'll be able to see more of it, and from not just the experience of personal teaching us how to do things better, but also other life experiences. On that note, I would like to say thank you to everyone who's been part of the journey of Each One Teach One, and look forward to seeing and hearing more of that in the new year. Have a wonderful celebrations, whatever it is you do, wherever you are. And once again, Happy New Year in advance. Merry Christmas. May the new year see us well, and see you soon. Take care.
My name is Ayindamola Charles Ni Odubeson. I had the opportunity to present during the Each One Teach One session this year. My area, or my topic, was actually called Embracing Our Connection and Interactive Session. I chose this topic just based on my own personal experience. Earlier on in the year, I needed to procure certain items in Lagos, and I needed them immediately. Had no clue on how to get them or who the connections were, but was fortunate to tap into my ISL network, classmate network, and find someone who could help me. Not only did this person help me, but I was able to procure the items on time in a seamless way and no stress whatsoever. And so in terms of the topic I wanted to present, I really wanted to share this experience just to give people an inkling of the wealth of resource we had within ourselves in terms of networking and trying to get things done either from a group perspective or from a personal perspective. And then in terms of, how I prepared in presenting for this, really, this was a real life experience. So it was just a matter of laying out my experience based on the facts in a logical, sequential manner, in a way that was relatable and that people could understand and be part of. I wanted it to be an interactive session because I wanted a dialogue. When it comes to embracing our community, I think that's something we all know. And so when I was presenting, I didn't want to present like I was preaching, to people. I wanted to present from an experience-based perspective, and I also wanted people to share their own perspective or their own viewpoints as, I was going along the presentation. And at the end of the day, I think we're fortunate. We have a wealth of resource within our, class group and throughout the ISL set that part of the gain from this is being able to share ideas, share experiences, learn from each other's point of views, and share all we have, either from a professional standpoint, emotional standpoint, financial standpoint, and help each other out and lift each other up any way we can whenever the opportunity arises. And so that was the bane of this presentation. And lastly, one of the things I want to say is a big thank you to Olumide Balogun, who's really helped in driving this effort and getting, the presenters, making sure that we have topics to discuss and go along seamlessly. So thank you, Olumide. And, in a nutshell, I hope this series can continue into the future. I want to thank you for this opportunity as well. Thank you.
Good morning, Each One Teach One listeners. The name is $10 $10, aka Spirit Man, aka The Greatest, aka Baba for the Youths, aka Street Umbrella, Living Legend, and the list goes on and on and on. Yeah, Each One Teach One should answer some questions. How did I select my topic? Well, the topic is me. $10 entertainment is me, so it wasn't selected. That is who I am. Then next question. What personal growth or benefit have you gained from hosting your session? Well, just the benefit of sharing what I do to everyone. And then the last question, what steps did I take to prepare for my session? I didn't take any step. There was no preparation because it is who I am. Signing off. $10 the greatest. Yes.
Hello, good day. My name is Olajumoke Delano. It's good to reconnect with you, classmates. I participated in the Each One Teach One sessions, one of the sessions in 2024, where I talked about an energy expert's journey to inspirational writing. And you may wonder what made me choose that topic. Well, I thought about what would resonate with an audience of 50-year-olds and above. What would resonate with us? And I know that, in people's 50s, they must be thinking about what to do after formal employment if you've been in formal employment. And if you've been running your own business too, you may want to do something new. You may be thinking about creating a legacy. And book writing has multiple benefits apart from leaving a legacy of a digital work or something that you've created. The other thing it does is that it creates an avenue for passive income. So that was how I chose my topic. What would resonate with my audience? What is my audience thinking about? That's how I arrived at the topic. How did I prepare? Preparation didn't really take long because I knew what I wanted to say. I had a few PowerPoint slides that I spoke to, and those PowerPoint slides were very short. I spoke mostly to them, so it did not really take me so much time to prepare. How did I feel after going through the slides during my presentation, hosting the session? I felt really fulfilled, being privileged to share my journey with others, with the hope that it would inspire somebody to do something new, maybe write a book, a best-selling book, that would be transformational in the lives of others. Until you tell your story, you never know what difference it can make. So this is Olajumoke, encouraging you who wants to be a part of the Each One Teach One session. It's not difficult, it's not complicated. Please share your story. We'd like to hear all about it. Take care. Bye.
Hello, this is Bumi Olumide, and I'm one of the speakers for the ISL 88 Each One Teach One. In terms of the topic, it was about transitioning into tech, and I felt it was a good topic because this is a question that comes up a lot where people want to learn about tech, and it's one of those areas that for a while has needed more people than it had. So knowing how to transition into it, I felt was useful information for people. In terms of how I prepared, I prepared in under 2 weeks. It's a topic I'm very comfortable with, so I just put it together into a format that I thought would work for the class. And in terms of how I've grown since presenting it, I like giving presentations. They make me nervous, but they're also encouraging. And we had a really good discussion after the presentation. So it was encouraging to see that it was well received and made a difference, and hopefully maybe has helped people. The market's bad, so who knows. But based on the conversation, it seemed it was well received and helpful. So that's all. Thank you.
Hi, I selected my topic for the Each One Teach One session because colorectal cancer is the third most common cause of cancer worldwide and the second most common cause of cancer-related death. And I thought that the topic was particularly important for the members of the ISL 1988 Alumni Association because we're about that age where preventing colon cancer is really important. What steps did I take to prepare for the session? I researched the incidence, prevalence, and management of colorectal cancer in Africa and Nigeria, to be precise, and I combined it with information from other talks I've given to medical audiences. I tailored the presentation to a non-medical audience, because majority of classmates in the Alumni Association are non-medical. What personal growth or benefits did I gain from presenting the session? The opportunity to share my knowledge with my colleagues, particularly colleagues and friends that are non-medical. So any opportunity to present to a non-medical audience, I'm very excited about that, because that's one way to increase the healthcare knowledge of the population, and also to teach people how to prevent illness and maintain a healthy lifestyle. Thank you.
Hello everybody, my name is Deji Adenusi, and I am here to share my experience about preparing for the Each One Teach One sessions for the ISL Alumni Association. It's 29th of December 2024, and I had my session in June 2024. I'm really glad to have been part of the series. I found it very enriching, not just preparing for my session, but attending the other presenters' sessions in the series that ran throughout the year. So how did I select my topic? My topic was We've Been Lied To, a brief overview of money, savings, and Bitcoin. And what I wanted to do was challenge our assumptions on these topics and do a little bit of deep dive that would condense the knowledge and dispel those assumptions that we've had, but also educate the population about this game changer technology that is available to all of us. It aligned with my previous work and study in the area, so it was, I didn't really need to start from scratch, but it still allowed me to be able to search out what I thought I knew and condense it into a 1-hour package. Right? How did I prepare for my session? I used PowerPoint. Started by structuring the material in a clear flow, from the basics to the benefits that I wanted the participants to derive. And I must say that the key message I wanted to pass did not really mature until I was more than halfway through the presentation. Kept asking myself, so what is the benefit to the participants? And I'll talk a little bit about that later. I researched the graphics that I thought could communicate key concepts clearly, so that took a little bit of time because I didn't want to, it had to align with the general flow. And then when the PowerPoint presentation was ready, I practiced, I did a dry run to practice and to prepare and to refine the presentation. I need to say though that you don't have to use PowerPoint. I have effectively communicated this concept at parties, just sitting with people. So it was just the medium that I chose at this point. That is to say that if you're going to do an Each One Teach One session, it's not necessarily that important for you to be a PowerPoint guru. One key part of my presentation or my session was the live demo, where I got the participants to create a Bitcoin wallet, share their receiving addresses, and they received a token amount of Bitcoin in their wallet. And I felt that this would make it more real and tangible to them. So what are the benefits I derived? First of all, you need to switch perspectives when you are presenting to people. So you move from whatever you've internalized into looking at it from the audience's perspective. I also had to think critically about each of the concepts I was discussing, which helped me improve my fundamental understanding of each of those concepts. I also learned some new areas around the topic. For instance, the acceptability of digital assets like Bitcoin in various cultural and religious contexts is not something I really thought about. Is Bitcoin halal? Was a question that came up. So I had to search the scriptures, both the Bible and the Quran, to find out what the scriptures said about concepts like inflation, dilution of currencies, etc. So that's in the presentation in case you're interested in what those scriptures say. Overall, it deepened my understanding and passion about the concept, and I feel I'm the better for it. I received probably more benefits than the participants who attended. In conclusion, I want to thank the Each One Teach One team, particularly Olumide Balogun, who has anchored these sessions right from the beginning. He breathed a lot of life into it, following up with the participants to prepare their material, getting them aligned in time. And we had all the 11 sessions, and even this 12th session, which is the best of Each One Teach One. Very well managed. I must applaud you, Olumide. I think you probably have a future in producing some TV series or something like that. Thank you for your hard work. I'm also excited about seeing how the other presenters prepared their sessions. I think it's going to be another learning experience. And finally, thanks to all the participants that made the time out to attend the sessions. Thank you and Happy New Year.